What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Got a lot to get to in this video. Giant storms, giant geoglyphs, and a giant CME we're going to take a look at on the Soho LASCO C3 instrument. But first, here at the GHOST 16, you can see this giant storm exiting out the upper northeastern part of the United States, currently over Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, headed towards the North Atlantic Ocean. In its wake, it left over at its peak 275,000 customers without electricity, occupying over 12 states. Right now, the map looks a whole lot better than it did earlier, but there's still 99,000 customers without electricity between two states, and they are West Virginia and Pennsylvania. 65,000 without electricity in Pennsylvania and 34,000 without electricity right now in West Virginia. Also here at the website, I had some people leave comments that they were wanting 2022 sky phenomena photo calendars, and since I didn't have their email address, I just went ahead and put the banners back up here on the homepage of the website. I'll leave them up here for about a week. If you're interested in a 2022 calendar, you can click on this red banner or the calendar itself right here, and it will take you to the website where you can order your 2022 Sky Phenomena photo calendar. Checking the Schumann resonance since we're here at the website. Pretty quiet all in all. A little bit of background noise amplification in the last 24 hours, but nothing major. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano. A little bit of activity over here at Hebgen Lake. I took a screen grab this morning of that same location, and there was more activity on that seismograph. That's why I took that screen grab, because I knew it would be rotating off the graph by the time I got to this video. Everywhere else is pretty quiet around the supervolcano caldera with regard to earthquakes. A little bit of magma intrusion at Mary Lake, but Hebgen Lake is the location of the largest earthquake ever recorded at Yellowstone, a 7.2 back in 1959. I want to show you guys today's UV reading, which is right here. I took it at 1:12 p.m. from out here in southeast Phoenix. Today we measured the UV AB and C. The estimated ground level UV was 4.2, and you can see once again I got a summertime reading. There's the ground level UVAB, 10.2. That's a summertime reading. This is the UVC over here on the right. That's actually a 4, not a 40, but it should be 0. We should never be detecting UVC down here at ground level, but that's actually a 4, and the UVAB is a 10.2, and again, that's a summertime reading in February. Those are the readings we typically get in July and August. We talked about these large CMEs that came off of the sun. We saw them on the stereo ahead spacecraft first. The Soho instrument has caught up, and you just saw right there an incredibly large plume of plasma. That is a massive CME. Again, not Earth-directed, thankfully. That was probably an X-flare if that were measurable. A full halo, you can see the plasma going in all 360 degrees. They define that as a full halo. That plasma looks like to me that could be, I'm not saying for sure because none of this was measured with instruments that we have back here, but I would say that was probably close to a Carrington-class event. And also, as the CME was departing the sun, the instrument noticed 2 sun-diving comets, one bigger than the other, and they were coming in right as the CME was departing the surface of the sun, again, moving away from planet Earth. I want to take you guys now down to southern Australia. This location was shared with me a couple of weeks ago. It's just north and west of Marie or Mare. I'm not sure if that's pronounced correctly. By all means, correct me if my pronunciation is wrong, but I want to take you guys to a location that was shared with me of a giant man. It's a geoglyph on the ground down here in southern Australia. It was discovered back in 1998 as a man was flying over that location in an airplane, and goes on to say the 4.2 kilometer, 2.5 mile tall figure on a remote plateau in South Australia is often thought to depict an Aboriginal hunter dubbed Marie Man after a nearby town, and that's the town that I just showed you guys right there. There's the location of the town. There's actually one closer, but they named it after that other town. And there's the man right there. I wanted to read you this story, some specifics about that giant man on the ground, because prior to this one being discovered by a pilot flying over that location in 1998, I always thought this one was the largest geoglyph. This is the one out in the Atacama Desert down in South America. And estimations regarding this nearly 300-foot tall giant geoglyph puts it somewhere in the 460 AD time frame, well over 1,000 years ago. And again, the one down here in Australia was discovered back in 1998. I want to go back to the article real quick. It's over here at bbc.com. Goes on to say it's dubbed the Marie Man, named after a town close to it. The Marie Man has been a subject of fascination since its discovery in the desert about 700 kilometers north of Adelaide. It has gained popularity on tourism flights because it's too large to be viewed from the ground. With an outline measuring a total of 28 kilometers, that's all the way around the geoglyph, locals believe it portrays a Aboriginal man carrying a woomera, a throwing stick, in his left hand. Whoever did the outline marked it with bamboo nursery skewers at every 10 meters, Mr. Turner told BBC. If you didn't have the coordinates, you would have no idea if you were standing in his left toe or his elbow. Considering GPS technology was in its infancy at the time this was discovered. So what they're alluding to is they're saying that this was probably professionally done. And this is in the middle of one of the lines of this very tall geoglyph right there. And it goes on to say here in this article back in 2016, Marie Man has faded over the years, but locals, with the approval of the Arbana people, used machinery to help restore it back in 2016. So that kind of tells me it might be a little older than 1998. It was just simply discovered back in 1998. And they allude to the use of GPS in this article regarding this very large 1.5-mile tall structure, a geoglyph on the ground in South Australia. But at the time this was done in the Atacama Desert over 1,000 years ago, to the best of my knowledge, I haven't read anywhere that GPS was available to the people that made these structures in South America. So how did they do this so precisely? And you can see this is the giant geoglyph in the Atacama Desert that's nearly 300 feet tall with many features, just like the one you see here in southern Australia. Let's measure it here real quick. I think the last time I measured it, it was around 1.5 miles. Let's see, I know it hasn't changed, but yeah, 1.6 miles tall. The geoglyph in Atacama Desert is, we'll measure this one in feet because it's not quite as big, but you got to keep in mind, this was done over 1,000 years ago. 274 feet tall. And again, it's got all kinds of features. You know, it's got a head, it's got the headdress, got arms, torso, legs, feet, and then some other things around the giant geoglyph, just like this one here. So I think this one might be older. It's just a lot bigger. And there's other glyphs in South America that you guys are well aware of. Here's a close-up view of the 275-foot tall giant in South America. Here's another beautiful, it looks like a large bird. This is near the Nazca lines in Peru. That too is very large, and I don't think there was GPS around when those were made. So just another interesting find. You can find the coordinates down below in the description box. Again, this is down in South America, north of Adelaide, South America, by 700 kilometers, right in that area there. Very interesting find, and thank you for sharing. A quick update on the storms down in the southern Indian Ocean. The most recent storm we talked about that's headed towards Madagascar. This is going to be like the third or fourth landing in about 2 weeks. It's estimated to be a major hurricane here in about 72 hours, a Category 3 storm making landfall in less than a week as a Category 1. And there is a storm brewing behind it. Whether it will mature to a full-blown cyclone remains to be seen. But right now, yet another storm down in the southern Indian Ocean. Thanks for watching. Have a super day, and be safe out there.